Hey guys, welcome to the second part of our voice note taking app. And in this video, we are going to be building our UI. And I also want to add some AI features like summarizing the node, etc. So we are also going to be going through that. Let's start by creating a component which is going to hold our node. So I have the app here. I'm going to create a new folder here. I'm going to call it node. And then inside it, I'm going to create a file called node car.tsx. Okay, so this is going to be a normal component. So export default function node card, and this is going to obviously have props. We are going to define the props in a bit, but yes, and by default is just written null. Okay, so now let's define its props. I'm just going to create an interface here. Node card props. The first thing will be ID. So we're going to be using ID for deleting the node or doing other kind of stuff, just managing the node. Then title, content, the audio URI, because I'm going to provide a button for playing the audio note as well. So audio URI, what happens on delete, because we need to provide it from outside. So this is going to be a function, and also it's going to be taking ID. So we know which node to delete. And last but not least, I'm gonna add a summary here as well. So summary is basically summarized version of the node. So summary is going to be string as well. So I'm just going to say props and of type node card props, and I can extract like all of these props, right? Now let's create a view here. View, and I'm gonna style it equal to style start dot card, and I'm gonna create styles here equal to style sheet dot create, and now I'm gonna create styles for it. So let's do that. Card, let's have a background color as, I don't know, a little bit of gray, so light gray, maybe light gray. And border radius, just gonna make it look a bit good. We can add some padding here, so it has like equal padding from everywhere, 16. Then I'm gonna add a shadow color, so it has this elevation kind of UI. So shadow color, right? Then I'm gonna provide elevation, some shadow radius, for, let's take its shadow opacity 0.1, and also like let's just give it some offset. So I'm not gonna provide any offset on width, but on height, so 2, right? And I think it's gonna make our card look good. I'm also gonna import view here. Okay, so this is, and then I'm just gonna render our content in it. So text, and inside the text we're just gonna render our props dot content. Just gonna import text as well. Great. Now let's use this and see how it's gonna look in our application. So I'm just gonna copy this, going to go into our app. And if you haven't watched the first video, we did really cool things in the first video as well, the part 1 of this video. I'll strongly recommend to check that out. I'm also gonna link it in the description. So I'm gonna go here in the index, and we have this text and all that. I'm just gonna remove it, and instead of it, I'm gonna render the node card. Let's import it, and going to provide content here. This is a node. Let's make everything optional right now. We can change this later, but let's just make it. Optional, note card, content, this is a note. Let's see if this works. So for some reason, the shadow is not showing up. Let's see, I go into note card. Let's try to change its background color to something else. Let's say red and see if it works. Okay, I can see the background color changing, but let's make it white. And white is showing up, so I'm not sure what is the issue with the light gray, but it's showing in white. So that's great. It works for me. So you can see, this is the note. Now I'm going to add some buttons and yeah, let's do that. Let's create like kind of like a header at the top. So let's create a view. Let's, style it equal to styles dot header, and it's gonna house icons for me. And I'm gonna create like a couple of touch up. So there are going to be three touchable opacity, three buttons here. The first one will be to summarize the note. The second one will be to summarize to play the audio, and the third one will be to delete the note. So let's do that. Touchable, touchable opacity, and this is going to have an icon. I'm gonna use ion icons. So ion icons, and I'm gonna import it from Expo vector icon. So import ion. I'm just gonna first say from at Expo vector icons, and then ion icons from Expo vector icons. And the icon that I'm going to use will be document. So document and just the outline. And let's make it size 10, 20, and color to a bit dark. So has 333. We have the touchable opacity here. And then I'm going to create another one for audio and then for delete. For audio, it's going to have two different states, right? So one is when it's playing and when it's paused. So I'm going to create a state here to track that. So const is playing, set playing equal to use state. It's a boolean, by default false, right? And based on that, we are going to change the icon. So if it's playing, then we're going to show pause. And if it's not playing, then we are going to show play, right? The same size, color, and everything. And at last, I'm going to use a delete icon. So trash, just the outline. And I think we are good to go. So we have a header to style. So I'm just going to first look how it's looking in the UI, and then we're going to move forward. So I'm just going to reload, right? And you can see like, all of them on top of each other vertically. We want them horizontally. So what we're going to do is we're going to say direction row, right? And then um not justify align, right? Oh no, justify content to very end, right? And then I'm gonna just put some margins. We can even put gap. So gap, maybe let's say 4, maybe 6. But 6 looks fine. What if I just remove it? Yeah, so gap 6 is fine. So we have these buttons here. We can also move them to the bottom. I'm thinking let's move them to the bottom. They will look much more better there. Great. So now we have this. Now let's actually make them functional. So I'm going to create an audio player. So const player, just like we did in the last video. use audio player, and we have to pass an URI, which is be coming from props dot audio URI. Right? And then we're going to create play and pause functions. Instead of creating play and pause, I'm just going to create like one, function. So it's going to be const toggle player, right? And this is gonna be if player dot playing, then set, then player dot pause, right? Yeah, player dot pause, and then just to set playing to false, else player dot play, set playing to true, right? And I'm just gonna copy this and put it in on press. So on press, I'm just gonna pass to the play, right? So it's gonna play and pause. That's what it will do. Right now, but we are not passing an audio URI. We're just gonna do it in a second. So let's do one thing. You remember in the last video, we created the transcription of our voice note. So we are just gonna use this component there and test, if it works with our audio or not. So we have this model, right? And we were showing this summary. So what I'm gonna do is instead of showing this summary, I'm gonna use note card. Then I'm gonna pass the content, which is going to be, the text. And then I'm gonna pass the audio URI, right? Which we have here as a recorder.uri, right? Which we are also setting the state. So that's good. I'm gonna say audio URI. I think the name is audio URI, right? Wait. Signal is not subject to typing strings. Okay, so types are not matching. This is because an audio URI can be, or an audio source can be null as well. So we're just gonna make it null. I hope this will work now. This is getting recorded, and let's create a summary of this and see if the note card is working or not. Okay, so this is getting recorded, and let's create a summary of this and see if this note card is working or not. And I'm gonna hit play and see if it plays back. All right. This is getting recorded, and let's create a summary of this and see if the note card is working or not. Okay, so this is working. Our player is working. That's great. Now I'm gonna change a bit of things. So I'm gonna remove this play recording and all of that. So let's do that in the index.tsx. I'm gonna not. So I'm gonna remove the play recording and also I'm just gonna keep stop. But instead of like using touchable opacity, I'm just gonna use a button. They look much better. So instead of this, I'm just gonna use a button from React Native. And instead, so button don't take children's. Just gonna pass the title here. Stop. Or I'm gonna just say and note. That sounds much more aligned with what we are doing. Let's see. Just reload this. So, this is recording. Let's see if this works. So he pays. Okay, great. The other thing is like, I don't want to show this note all the time. So I'm just gonna hide it until there is text. So text and then show this card. Okay, so I'm just gonna reload that note. Okay, so right now it is getting recorded. Let's see if this works. Looks good. Looks much way better. Right now it's getting recorded. Great. I'm also going to remove this padding because I think things are off centered. I'm just going to reload this again. So this is getting recorded, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it didn't even get the first part. That's okay. I'm also going to remove this header. So the way I can do it is from layout. And I'm just going to go here, header shown or something. Yeah, header shown false. Great. So it doesn't show it anymore. And instead of add note, I'm just going to say stop. Okay, so just stop. Great. Also, this add note button, I'm gonna make it float, somewhere at the bottom here, and also like just style it a bit. So I'm just gonna style it. I don't need any of this anymore. So I'm just gonna say add button. So it's background color to be hash 333, and then its color to be white, and give it a padding of maybe 10. Let's see if this works. I'm just gonna add a style here. Style start. 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 Okay, let's see if that works. Color is not changing, so I think we have to white the color here. Add button text color hash, hash 333. Just going to pass it here. Style equal to style start add button text. I'm just getting confused as hell. I just typed hash 333. It should be white. Okay. All right. So it looks good. I don't know why it's taking the whole width because I think the container. So I'm just going to set it width to, 100, and then, just gonna justify everything. Center. Right. I think this will work. Align items center. Okay, so it looks good. I'm just also going to add a bit of border radius here, maybe 4. Yeah, looks good. Also, I'm going to make it float. So position absolute. Also at the bottom, so bottom 100 because we also want to like skip this tab bar. And yeah, from right maybe 10. Okay, so it goes here because we are inside a scroll view. So I'm just going to remove this. And this is like comes stock with the Expo app. So I'm just going to remove it with not from this, actually from React Native. So here, right? Okay, then, okay. So, but the problem is we don't want this button to be inside the scroll view because scroll view has its own height and everything. So we just need like a view. And we're going to import it from here as well. So view, great. Now let's see if this works. Just reload this. Okay, so we have the note. I don't know where is the button. So we are going to do add content inset adjustment behavior. So it can, take care of the, the header in the iOS. So it's content inset adjustment behavior, which is going to be automatic. And we are also going to add some style to our container scroll view. So styles dot scroll view. Just gonna go here, add it here, flex once, so it can take the whole height. Background color, let's make it white to look good. And padding, say 20, right? Also, let's add some style here as well. Again, so it can take the whole height container. So I'm gonna keep the same styling. Reload it, and you can see the note here, and then you can see add note here. And if I click on it, opens modal and start recording whatever we are saying, and then you can click on stop. Yeah, so I think what's happening is like I'm way far from my MacBook microphone, and that's why it's not recording the whole thing. But yeah, so we can move forward. So you can see like the notes here, and I can add a note, right? The one thing that I want to do is also add a voice animation. So when it's recording, it shows that voice animation. And for that, I'm going to use Latte, and I'm going to install it in the project. So first we have to install it. I'm going to add another terminal. I have the command here. So it is npx expo install Latte React Native. Just hit enter, and this will install the package. And then you need to get animation, Lottie animation. I already have it here. I'm just gonna use that. So I'm just gonna drag and drop that in the assets. So this is the animation.json which we are going to use, right? Now let's go and use it. In order to use it, I'm just going to go into our model and say is recording. Let's create another is recording block. Is recording, and then we need to show a Lottie view. Lottie view. We have to import it here. Import Lottie view from Lottie React Native. Great. Yeah, so Lottie view, and then so we are going to set autoplay to true. So the animation starts as the component render, as soon as the component renders. Then we need like a ref if you want to start and stop it. I'm not going to do that right now, so I'm not going to use any ref. Then you have to provide a style. I'm going to provide style so I can control its width and height. Width 200, height 200, and then source. And source we're going to require our and then you have to provide the path. So dot slash asset slash animation.json, and most probably it should work. Okay, so I get the issue. The issue is that I have the semicolon in here, and that is what causing the issue. So sometimes the issue is just in front of your eyes and you're just not able to figure it out. But we did. So okay, so we added that Lottie animation, right? So if you go here, you can see, right? If it's recording, then it's gonna show this animation. I'm gonna click on add note, and you can see the animation, right? So now it looks cool. I am adding this note, and yeah, so I'm creating this video about voice note taking using AI. So let's see if you are able to get that. So I'm creating this video about note taking using AI. So it works, and it sometimes like lose some of the information maybe at the end and all that, but I think that is fine. It can kind of like get the gist of it. You can also like just hear it clicking here. But this is not looking good, so I'm just gonna add some padding at the and here. So in the components, the note, not in the card, but in the model. I'm just going to add padding from left 20 and padding from right 20. Right, so now this looks good. Okay, the other thing is now we have to add those nodes to our list and then render them here. And for that, I'm going to use Redux. So let's install Redux and Redux Toolkit, especially. So let me get the command to install them. So first I'm going to install React Redux. So npx expo install React Redux. Just gonna install React Redux. And then Toolkit, I'm going to use Redux Toolkit for state management. So I'm just gonna do that as well. Now that is done. Great. Now let's move on to creating our reducer. So I'm going to create a folder called store. In it, I'm going to create a store.ts, and then I'm going to create a node slice. I'm just going to call it node. Let's create our store first, and then we can create our node slice. So import configure store from at Redux.js toolkit. Great. And then I'm going to import a node slice from node, but we don't have it there, but I'm just going to put some dummy code here. So slash node. Great. And then I'm going to export our store equal to configure the store reducer. I'm going to call it node slice dot reducer, which is, we're going to export from the reducer. So now let's create the node slice. Firstly, I'm going to import create slice from Redux toolkit. Great. Now let's create interface of our node. So how our node basically looks. It has a ID, it has a content, right? It has a audio URI, which is going to be string. Then let's add a summary as well. So, remember we want to summarize the note as well. Summary, and I think that's pretty much that. I'm going to create an interface for our initial state, which is going to be an array of nodes. So node array, and then I'm going to create the initial state, which is of type node state, which is by default going to be an empty array, right? Now let's create our slice. Export const node slice equal to create slice name, which is going to be node, then our initial state, and then our reducers. So the first reducer is add node, or you can say action is add node state. Then there is going to be action, and action will basically be the whole node. Okay, so we're just going to say state dot nodes dot push action dot payload, right? And then I'm going to add a delete node to delete the nodes. So delete node, same state, action, and then I'm just going to filter out that node, right? So state dot nodes equal to state dot nodes dot filter, and I'm just going to get a node, and from that so in the action that we are going to dispatch delete node, we're going to dispatch an ID. So node dot ID not equal to action dot payload, right? So whatever ID we are going to get, right? Great. So we have this. Now let's export these. So export const add note, delete note from the node slice dot actions, and then I'm gonna export default node slice dot reducer as well, right? And if that's the case, then I don't need it like this. I can just say node reducer here, because by default I'm exporting that. So I'm gonna get that. note. I think this looks pretty good. Now let's you know use this in our app. So in the app, in the index.tsx, I'm gonna render this list. So inside the row scroll view, you have one note card. Instead of that, we are actually going to render notes dot map note and then index. I'm just gonna render the note. All right, and I'm gonna pass it a key index. Right now, let's extract the notes from the reducer. So I'm just going to go here, const notes equal to use selector. Then we are going to get our state, and in the state we can get state dot note because that's our reducer name dot notes, and I have to import use selector. So import from React Redux use selector, and I also need actually use dispatch to delete the node as well, right? So I'm just gonna import it. So now the nodes come from there. Has any type, I'm just gonna do any for now, and index is going to be a number, right? So let's see if that works. I mean, there's nothing to in our reducer right now, but at least let's go to our simulator. Okay, so I could not find recreated context. Yeah, because we don't have a provider yet. We have to put a provider at the root level, which is in our case layout.tsx. So I'm gonna put all of this inside provider from React Redux, and then we have to pass the store here. So store equal to store from store. Great. Now reload the app and see. Okay, so it works. Right now it's empty, so nothing is gonna show up. Now what we're gonna do is when our node stops transcribing, we're gonna add it to the reducer. Before that, I'm actually going to add another save button, which basically says, save this node to our reducer, right? So I'm just gonna show again. No, so if there is text, then show this button. So we have to close it here. So the title will be save, right? And on press, we are going to save the node, right? And let's create function here to do that. So const save note equal to function, and yeah, so we also need dispatch here. So I'm just gonna import it. Import use dispatch from React Redux, and we are gonna get the dispatch here. Use dispatch as well. And now let's write the code to save the node. Okay, so let's create the object here. So node equal to id. I just need a random id, so I'm just gonna do new date dot get now, or sorry, get time, and then the content, which is the transcription text, the audio URI, which is the you know audio URI in the state, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So there's going to be summary. So by default, summary is empty. So I'm just gonna keep it empty. Now we have the note. I'm going to dispatch this note, right? So dispatch save note, and then I'm just gonna provide the note, right? But it says type word is not able to type. Yeah, it's not save note, it's add note. So let's just do it. Okay, so I think it's gonna work. So let's try that out. I'm just going to reload this and let's see if this works. Going to go to this. I have to pick up some groceries and then create couple of YouTube videos. Please note this down for me. Okay, so it did well. Now I can just click on save. And do you think it worked? I don't know. So it did work, but it's still showing this is a node. So I think the reason behind it is that we are not passing any content. So we need to do that. Node.content and also the audio URI, which is going to be node.audio um, audio URI, right? Let's see. Yeah. So I'm just gonna make sure. Okay, so it's in small case. That's what I'm gonna do here as well, just to keep it simple. There. Okay, it seems good. Let's see if it's play my audio. So it's not, I think, because when the first time we saved, it got saved inside the uppercase audio URI. I'm just gonna reload that and let's do it again. Please note down that I have to create 2 YouTube videos when I get home. Okay, great. And I click on save. So I'm also going to close this modal. So right now we click on save and it doesn't get closed. Okay, and let's play this. Please note down that I have to create 2 YouTube videos when I get home. So it is working. Great. Um, Now that is good. This is not working. We'll figure that out. But now let's handle the delete functionality. And then after that, we're going to do the summarization. So don't need this anymore. I'm going to go inside the note component, note card, and then I'm going to use this on delete, right? So touchable opacity here on press. You need to call on delete with the ID, right? So on delete with the ID which comes in the props, right? Great. So I'm gonna remove all these things. This is also from props dot on delete. I can just destructure it in the at the top, but I just didn't do it. So okay, so now let's call the delete as well. So on delete, we will get the ID. We just have to call the dispatch. So let's first create the dispatch here. So const dispatch equal to use dispatch. And we have the dispatch here. Dispatch, then delete note with note.id. Yeah, so we don't even need this ID, right, anymore. So I'm just gonna go here and say we don't need this here because we already have it, outside. So it's just gonna be drop start on delete. Let's see if that works. Okay, it works. It deletes the node, right? So that is good. Now let's move on to the part where we are going to summarize the node. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use OpenAI again, OpenAI APIs to send this text and, then receive a summarized copy of that text. So let's do that. And I'm going to do all that inside, note card. So I'm going to create a function here. So let's write the function. So handle summarize equal to, it's going to be a string because we're going to make another, again, API request. So if there is already a summary. You don't need to generate one. So let's say props dot summary, just return, Then try const response equal to await fetch. I have the endpoint here. I'm just going to copy that. And then we're going to pass our method as post. We're going to pass our headers because we need to pass our authorization key again. If you don't have it, you can actually go and get it from OpenAI dashboard. It's going to be application, JSON, and the authorization is going to be bearer the API key, right? So OpenAI key. Now let's send the body. Body is going to be a JSON, so I'm going to have to stringify it. JSON stringify. So first we are going to choose our model, which is going to be GPT. So model GPT-4o mini. Or you can use 4o, but I'm just using mini to make, to keep things simple and, fast as well. And then we have to provide an array of messages, just like, as we are, chatting with the GPT, just as we do in chat GPT. So messages, first I'm gonna pass a role. So role is like, you know, this message belong to whom. So first is going to be system, and the content will be that, you are an assistant. Just gonna put a comma here. Assistant that summarizes text in a concise, right, in a concise manner, right? Provide in a brief summary in 1 to 2 sentences. So, it doesn't go off rail and try to generate like a lot of words. And then the second thing will be the role, which will be user. So user sending a message, and the content will be summarize this note, and then we're just going to send the note, right, which is going to be prop start content. Great. Okay, so the response, right, and now we're just going to make this API hit. All right, so const data equal to await response dot JSON. Great. And from that JSON, we are going to extract our message. So now the data that is written from this API is going to be in array format, just like we sent it. So it's, a chat conversation. So we are just going to get the last message and just going to show that. So we have like this data dot choices, zeroth dot message dot content dot trim. So we do trim because, if we have spaces and all that. So summary data dot choices, zero dot message dot content dot trim. And we are going to set that as the summary, or we are going to dispatch, and then we are going to update the summary. So dispatch update summary, and we're going to pass the ID and the summary. So now we don't have update summary, we're going to get it, but before that I'm going to get the dispatch here. So dispatch equal to use dispatch from React Redux. Great. And yeah, and if there is an error, just alert. There is an error. Okay, so import it from here. Also, we are going to get the summary now, so we're going to show it here. So once we click on the summary button, we're going to get the summary here. So text, just props.summary, right? Okay, let's fix this. Dispatch. I think I messed up the spelling here. Yeah. So now we have to create update summary. So let's just, so in our slice, in our store, in our slice, we are going to create another action here. reducer. So we're going to get our ID and summary. Action dot payload from here, state action summary, right? And then we are going to find the index to update the summary for that node, right? So state dot notes dot find index note dot id equal to the id that is provided, and then f note index equal to not equal to -1. Then I'm going to update the summary. So state.notes find index, not find is not note index dot summary equal to summary, right? Great. I think this should work. I'm not sure if this is going to work because it's we are updating the reference, but let's see if that is going to work or not. So state.notes not index or summary, if equal to summary. If it's not going to work, then we're going to do the map thing. But let's just see. So update summary. I think we're good to go. Let's go to modal. It's in the node card. So update summary, we have to export it, and also like this is going to be props.id. So index, we are also going to provide the ID here. So ID equal to node.id, and also summary equal to node.summary. Now let's see if all of this works. I think one thing we still need to like export it from the actions. So we're just going to do that here. And then import it here. Great. Okay, so let's and also now we have to just call it here. So on press equal to handle summarization, handle summarize, and let's see if that works. I have to create 2 more YouTube videos. Please note that down for me. Okay, so it's loading now. Let's click on save. We have it, and let's click on summarize. So it kind of returned, right? So the person needs to create 2 additional YouTube videos. This is good, right? So I'm gonna put it, I'm just gonna add some styling here. Okay, so I'm just gonna create a view, summary container. It's gonna keep everything camel case. Container, background color to a bit gray, hash F5, F5, F5. And then some border radius, let's say 4 to match. Then some padding, 12, and then some margin, from the top, 4, and then I'm just going to put it there. So a view style equal to styles dot summary container, and I'm going to put the text in here. Okay, and then only show this if we have node dot props dot summary, and then great. I also want to like just add another loading here, so when it's summarizing. So const summarizing. I'm just gonna say loading. That is much more easier. Set loading equal to use state boolean by default false, and set loading to true, and finally to false. And if so, here's what we are going to do. Just going to add an activity indicator here. So if loading and then just add an activity indicator, size large. And now let's see if all of this works together. Let's reload. Also, like, I am thinking of adding more features to this note taking app, for example, automatic note tags and all that, and also like search and all that. So if you guys want to have another video about it, just let me know. I'm gonna stop. Let's see if it take all that. Okay, great. I'm just again before clicking, I'm just gonna um so when we click save, I'm also going to close the model. Why it says this on delete is missing. Oops. Just so on delete doesn't really do anything. It's just going to close the model. So it's router dot back, and we need the just router dot back, router from Expo. And we are going to do the same thing when we save the save node dispatch, and then just do router back. So if I click on save, okay, it also goes back. And now if I click on summarize, it shows us loading, and then it shows us the summary. The author is considering adding features such as automatic note tagging and such familiar to their note taking app, and it's open to creating another video if there's interest. That's great. I just don't like that there is this, there need to be some margin here. So I'm just gonna add it to this container. Margin bottom 4, save it. Okay. 4 is way less, 10. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't know, just let me know what you think about this app. I want to keep, building this forward. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you really liked it and you learned something from this. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video.